Good morning. So Stephen Lett is trying to justify Watchtower's judicial system. This is what he has to say.
Now, our first example is our scripture text for today, Matthew 18:16. On the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, every matter may be established.
There's no insight, wisdom, or understanding in this. The judicial system given to the Israelites consisted of many legal principles, of which the 2-witness rule was only one. The judges in Israel were told, "You must not be prejudiced." That means they must listen to both sides. In order to do that, the person who is accused must be fully informed of the accusations against him, who the witnesses are, what they're saying, etc., etc. And the judge must listen to both sides before he makes up his mind. So it doesn't matter if he has 50 witnesses making the accusation, he must still listen to the accused person. Now, these principles of justice are throughout the courts, throughout the world, especially in Europe. The Bible goes one step further, and it says that the judges must search and inquire and investigate thoroughly. I'll put the references below. And this principle of justice is far more important than the 2-witness rule. So has Watchtower learned anything? This is what Stephen Lett has to say.
Well, Jehovah's wise 2-witness principle greatly minimized wrong convictions among his ancient people, and it greatly minimizes erroneous decisions among his people today. Now, of course, we're not saying that 2 witnesses cannot frame mischief and jointly give false testimony, but that's a rare occurrence.
Stephen Lett, false witnesses are not rare. In the scriptures, you have Naboth stoned to death on the testimony of false witnesses brought up by Jezebel. Dreadful. The worst case of false testimony was against Jesus Christ, which we'll look at. But on the way, there's a little side story which demonstrates the serious problems that judges face. And it concerns Peter. Now, Jesus was arrested on the Mount of Olives, and Peter was so afraid, so worried, that he attacked one of the servants of the high priest. And that man's name was Malchus. Peter cut off his ear. It must have been really painful. But anyway, Jesus put it back and healed it straight away. So all good. Now, we skip on a little bit, and Jesus is taken to the court of the Sanhedrin. John and Peter are allowed in. And here, Peter is accused 3 times of being a disciple of Jesus Christ, which he denies. Now, there's a little detail that we can miss because we're concentrating on Peter denying Jesus, and it concerns the 3rd accusation. John chapter 18 and verse 26. One of the servants of the high priest, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked, "Did I not see you in the garden with him?" Peter denies it, of course. Now, what would modern-day Watchtower elders make of this? You have Malchus, who gives testimony that Peter cut off his ear, and you now have a relative of Malchus who's also saying that he saw what happened. You have 2 witnesses. The elders today would disfellowship Peter because they rely on the 2-witness rule. But have they searched and inquired and investigated thoroughly? The witness was true. Peter did cut off his ear. But what evidence was there? Malchus has 2 very good ears. There's no evidence that he lost one. It's not easy to be a judge. Anyway, we'll come on to the false accusations against Jesus Christ, and it's in chapter 19. The priests have taken Jesus to Pilate, and they have to make an accusation. And they say, "We have a law, blasphemy, which means that Jesus should be killed because he called himself the Son of God." Pilate gets worried about this because he has many gods, and according to legend they do have sons. So is this one of them? I'm hoping that Pilate discounts this straight away, because Jesus was a Jew, not a Roman, not according to Roman gods. Now, the accusation was true. Jesus did call himself the Son of God, basically because he was the Son of God. The false testimony comes in calling it blasphemy. It wasn't blasphemy at all. Anyway, Pilate still wants to release Jesus Christ, so the priests have to come up with something a little more serious. So they tell Pilate that Jesus claims that he's going to bring in his kingdom. It's going to be against Caesar. Now that's treason. So Pilate is not given much option here. That false accusation, which is false because Jesus said his kingdom was not of this world. Never did he say he was going to overthrow Caesar. The false accusation led to Jesus' death. It also led to the destruction of Jerusalem many years later. False testimony is very prevalent, and it's due to something called crowd mentality. Look it up on Google. It leads to mob violence. It's a very, very dangerous weapon, and it's quite prevalent in congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's very easy to stir up emotion and false accusations. One person can do it quite easily. It's something judges should look out for, but Watchtower doesn't tell them to do so. Watchtower's judicial system is simplistic and extremely dangerous and illegal. Thank you so much for watching, and I apologise that it's a rant against Watchtower, but they are causing so much harm. We're hoping that one day they will listen properly. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.